Should WNBA players get paid more? Let's talk about it. Okay, Ring Culture, welcome back to Ring Culture, where we play no games. We just spit game about the game we love. As always, go to my reaction channel, check out my sports reactions, and give me a sub over there. Let's talk about this subject. So, the WNBA players for a couple years now have been lobbying to get paid more, especially with the recent influx of cash going into the WNBA. They feel like they owe some of that revenue. I agree. They're asking for a bigger portion of the sales of their merchandise. They're not asking for anything unreasonable. Let me lay my cards on the table real quick. I love the WNBA. I actually watch more WNBA games than I watch NBA games because the NBA has been steadily getting unwatchable in the last few seasons. The bright spot for the NBA is I love the competition in the finals this year. I thought it was strategic, and it made me almost feel like I was watching NBA back in the early 2000s and the 90s. That's a good thing. But I love the WNBA. I do not care that they are winning. Look at it like this. Look at these hoopers as employees or hoopers just trying to get that bag. If your company struggled for years and you ate it for years, not getting paid a lot, but you still ate it, and your company not only comes out of the red, but expands, gets so much more revenue, you mean to tell me you wouldn't ask for a raise? Come on, get the fuck out of here. We all would. I definitely would. These ladies are hoopers living out their dream. I'm here on YouTube speaking about basketball, hoping that y'all enjoy what I say, and hopefully one day I will earn revenue from it. Well, they're living out their dreams on the hoop. Hooping is literally their job, and as their business gets more money, they just want to get compensated for it. And I do not disagree. I do not care that they're women. I fucking love the WNBA. I love basketball, and they play a pure brand of basketball. They play the right way. There was an article that came out from Yahoo Sports, and it is titled, "They're Absolutely Unpaid. Economist Weighs In on WNBA Labor Shutdown." I'm going to read some of this article. They chatted over breakfast the morning of the WNBA All-Star Game. Some of the players have led the fight to overhaul the WNBA's financial structure, held an impromptu meeting early Saturday to air their frustrations over how labor negotiations with the league have stalled. Out of the conversation came an idea for a bold new approach to the WNBA labor standoff. Players decided that it was time to stop bargaining primarily behind closed doors and instead bring their message to the masses. Later that same day, Players Union leader gave every NBA All-Star a black t-shirt with a slogan, "Pay us what you owe us," emboldened in white letters across the front. The All-Stars unanimously donned those shirts during pregame warm-ups and in front of the sellout crowd of nearly 17,000 and millions more viewers watching from home on ABC. The players are what is building this brand. All-Star Game MVP and WNBPA Vice President Nafisha Collier, she is a fucking hooper, said Saturday, "We feel like we're owed a piece of that pie that we helped create." You damn right. Collier's comments came at a time of unprecedented growth for the WNBA, accelerated by the popularity of Caitlin Clark and other recent high-profile college stars. The league has had a record 2024 season with historical viewership, attendance, and merchandise sales. Expansion teams will debut in Toronto, Portland, Philadelphia, Detroit, Cleveland over the next 5 years. In 2026, the league will begin an 11-year media rights deal worth a reported $2.2 billion. Eager to cash in on an influx of revenue, the players' union opted out of their collective bargaining agreement with the league last year and now must negotiate a new deal before the current one expires on October 31st. Players are seeking to drastically improve revenue sharing model that would allow their salaries to grow as the league does. This makes sense. The league has scarcely acknowledged the proposals during early bargaining sessions. Players have complained. The distance between the union and the league is vast enough that it raises the question, who's right? Are WNBA players as grossly underpaid as they claim, or are they asking for too much? Given the WNBA's history of unprofitability and the potential fragility of its recent rapid surge in popularity. For the past years, Howard economist professor and 2023 Nobel Prize winner Claudia Golden has been advising the WNBA in collective bargaining. Last month, Golden penned a guest essay in the New York Times entitled, "How Underpaid Are the WNBA Players? It's Embarrassing." After examining TV ratings, attendance data, and other metrics, Golden estimated that the average WNBA salary should be roughly 1/4 to 1/3 of the salary of NBA players to achieve pay equality. In reality, WNBA salaries currently range from the league minimum for $66,079 to a maximum of $249,244. That's not in the same stratosphere as the NBA, where the league minimum is $1.27 billion and the highest paid superstar earns more than $50 million apiece next season. How could this be, wrote Golden. The most likely explanation is that the WNBA is not receiving the full value and contribution to the combined NBA and WNBA enterprise revenue. 3 other sports economists who spoke to Yahoo Sports agree with Golden's assessment that the WNBA players are not being paid what they deserve. As evidence, they pointed to the fact that about 50% of the NBA revenue goes to the player's salary, and that WNBA players take a minuscule percentage of their league's revenue by comparison. This is what they were talking about. Even without knowing the exact revenue of the WNBA, we know they're certainly not making even close to 50%. University of San Francisco professor of sports management Nola Alga told Yahoo Sports, so they're absolutely underpaid. The WNBA will make at least $500 million in revenue next year, argued David Barry, an economist professor in Southern Utah and the co-author of Slaying the Troll, Why the Trolls Are Very, Very Wrong About Women and Sports. Barry based that estimate on the report from Forbes that placed the league's 2024 revenue at $226 million. Another report from Sportico that the expansion Golden State Valkyries are bringing in $75 million in their inaugural season. And the WNBA media rights deal with Disney that will provide $200 million annually. Says the WNBA player negotiate the right to take 50% of the $500 million, a revenue sharing percentage salary, to what their counterparts in the NBA, NFL, NHL, and Major League Baseball get. In that scenario, the 168 players on 2026 WNBA roster will earn an average of $1.49 million, more than 10 times the league's current average salary. Clearly, if the league is going to treat WNBA players like they do the NBA players, there has to be a sustainable increase. So there has to be a substantial increase in pay, Barry told Yahoo Sports. Of course, eventually, how much revenue any league makes is notoriously tricky because sports accountability always includes some sleight of hand tricks and deception. That's particularly true in the case of the WNBA, whose deeply interwound financial relationship with the WNBA makes it hard to decipher where one league's revenue ends and the other begins. The NBA, founded the WNBA nearly 30 years ago, provides financial support to cover losses and remains a significant stakeholder to this day. 7 of the WNBA 13 teams are owned by NBA ownership groups. Last year, the NBA negotiated joint television contracts for the leagues. Back in 2018, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver said that the WNBA annually lost roughly $10 million per year. Wow. Those losses allegedly quadrupled last year, sources told the New York Times, citing a rise in expenses like full-time charters, flights, and the fact that the WNBA new media rights deal would not kick in for another 2 years. Count Andrew Zimbalist among those skeptical of these figures. Zimbalist, a professor at Smith College and a lead in sports economist, served as an advisor to the NBA Players Association during multiple previous collective bargaining sessions. He remembers the WNBA claiming losses each time in the efforts to gain public support and extract future concessions from their players. This sounds about right. They might claim they're making less, but when you look closely at their books, they're not really making less, Zimbalist told Yahoo Sports. There are lots of shenanigans they can use to play with the books, so one would have to look very carefully at how they're doing their accounting before you even enter into discussions. The women's union needs to have some financially inept people at the bargaining table so the owners can't pull the wool over their eyes. The lack of transparency regarding the WNBA finances is a huge issue. According to the union president, Nika Abumike of the Seattle Storm in 2018, Players Union essay, Abumike wrote that the union just wants information about where the league is as a business so that we can come together and make sound decisions for the future of the game. This is very reasonable. As players, we never get to see numbers, Abumike added. We don't know how the league is doing. As the kids say nowadays, we just want to see the receipts. Last Thursday, on the eve of the WNBA All-Star Weekend, many of the league's most recognizable players crammed into an Indianapolis hotel elevator and smiled for a picture. They were on their way to a rare in-person bargaining session between the Players Union and the owners. The mood was not so upbeat several hours later when those same players emerged from the meeting. While WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelberg characterized the talks as constructive and expressed confidence a deal would get done, players seethed over how far apart the two sides remain. A wasted opportunity, Breonna Stewart called it. Disrespectful as how Angel Reese described the league's counter-proposal. We have a long way to go, Kelsey Plum admitted. 48 hours later, pay us what you owe us was born. By the end of the night, fans chanting, pay them, drowns out Engelberg's presenting Collier with the All-Star Game MVP at mid-court. That gave me chills, Collier said later. Sports economists, the biggest challenge for WNBA players will be keeping supportive fans on their side and winning over those who already feel they're asking for too much. They have to be very clear with the public about what the numbers say and about why they're asking for a much larger piece of the pie. You can't let the NBA frame it to the media that we're willing to double down we're willing to double their pay or something like that, Barry said. You've got to come back and say, look, I know what the revenue is. I know what the math says. We're partners in this, and you owe us money. Period. Straight up. You owe us money. The thing that's funny is, I see people in the media trashing these women, and they're taking the side of the big business. Why? Because these are women? Y'all taking the side of the big business because these are women? Y'all just believing what the WNBA is saying about their revenue? We can all see that they have expanded, that their arenas are full every night. So these women just supposed to keep playing for pennies. After the league has had an explosion in revenue this year, we can all see it. They should still just not ask for anything. To say that they have some nerve to ask for something after the league not being profitable for years is insane to me. Yes, they have a nerve to ask for something that after the league have not been profitable for years and now is very profitable. Shouldn't they get a piece of that? We're watching them. They are the product on the floor. Come on. Come on. This is just my opinion. I fucking love the WNBA. Y'all gonna see me on this page rocking WNBA jerseys and t-shirts. Two of players in the WNBA. They are hoopers. They are skilled. They play the game the right way. And I watch almost every game that comes on TV. But tell me what y'all think. If y'all disagree, it's fine. If y'all don't like the WNBA, it's fine. If you have never watched the WNBA and don't like it, you might want to watch it. But anyway, that's the video for today. The pleasure is all mine. The reaction, that belongs to you. I love y'all. Peace.